Hi, I'm Peggy from the Brockville Museum and welcome to Museum from Home. Now, imagine you get invited to a party and as you come into the door, well, no one's really around having fun. Instead, everything's really quiet and the lights are very dim. You're taken into a room and there's a lady sitting at the table that you don't know. Everyone sits around this lady and maybe you all hold hands. And this mysterious woman starts talking to the dead and starts communicating to these people that you may have known once upon a time. All of a sudden she's talking to your aunt and about an inheritance that was left to you. Well, how does she know about this? That's something that actually could have happened here in Brockville. Spiritualism in the 18 and 1900s was a huge belief system where people believed that they could communicate to the dead through various different means. And there's actually a long history of that here in the Brockville area. In the 1800s, there was a very well-known fortune teller by the name of Mother Barnes. Mother Barnes had grown up in Ireland and had made her way to Canada just past Brockville in an area called Sheldon's Corners. And after her husband abandoned her with 7 children, she had to figure out a way to support herself. So she turned to fortune telling and reading tea leaves. Soon people from all over Canada and the United States were coming to Mother Barnes to have their tea leaves read. These were politicians, public figures, the police even came once or twice, and they all came to get help with a problem. Sometimes people had a particular question they wanted answered, like, where is this missing thing? Other times they wanted to know who they could marry. Sometimes even in the case of the police, they wanted to know possibly where bodies were. People would walk up the stairs at Mother Barnes, they'd sit down, they'd have a cup of tea set in front of them, they'd drink the tea, turn the teacup over, and then as they turned it back over and showed it to Mother Barnes, she would read their tea leaves. Now, Mother Barnes passed away in the 1800s, but that didn't mean spiritualism was over in Brockville and area. In fact, it was only just beginning. Many people might be familiar with the name Mary Fulford. Mary Fulford's husband, George Fulford, created pink pills for pale people. Unfortunately, he died in 1905, and soon Mary's daughter and her son-in-law followed soon after. She ended up turning to spiritualism to help deal with her grief, and soon was going to seances and consulting with mediums all over North America. She even held seances in her home with very, very well-known political figures, such as Prime Minister Mackenzie King. At one particular session, he came over for a 2-day stay, and they held 4 separate seances. During these 2 days of seances, Mary contacted her husband about an issue with his will. He had apparently left $20,000 for the upkeep of his yacht that really should have been given to the upkeep of the household. Well, apparently she was able to talk to her husband on the other side because he told her what to do and she was able to get the will changed. The interesting thing about Mary Fulford is that during her life, she tried to always communicate to the dead. And after her death, she may still be trying to communicate to the living because apparently numerous people have had ghost sightings at Fulford Place to this day. Brockville is an old town full of different ghost stories and hidden bits of history scattered all about the place. And some of this history you might be able to find through some interesting means, things like dowsing rods. Now, these rods were usually made out of wood traditionally, but you can even use metal coat hangers or pieces of coat hangers. And what these are supposed to do is find lost or forgotten, supernatural, or even graves. And how they work is as you walk around, as you can see, they're just pushing themselves further and further away, but if I were to find something, they would all of a sudden cross over top of each other. And that would be where I needed to dig or look to find something that I had lost or I was looking for. These are just some examples of the ghost stories and spiritualistic beliefs that were in Brockville. You can try some of these things for yourself. You can try reading some tea leaves at home, or you can even make your own dowsing rods and try to find things just by walking around your backyard, your neighborhood, or even in your kitchen or bathroom. If you want to try these activities, just look in the links below where we'll have resources for you to check out. Thanks everyone for joining us, and I hope to see you next time. Bye everyone.